I'm Sonny, Las Vegas, and I'm about to be hit by a vehicle. I think my wife has life insurance on me. I'm a full-time reseller. I'm back at Goodwill.
And I do my best to invest my time into making every possible effort that I learn from online, either my own experiences and yours from your feedback and other channels, to help me grow as an individual and within the community to assist you and others. I came across this penguin jersey. It is a youth size from Reeboks, kind of all over the place. The vintage retro jerseys will definitely stand out, and you could get really good money for them. Unfortunately, this one, it had some flaws to it, so I decided to put it back and make my way over to the hard goods, where I came across this unique hand carved etched African head, but I feel kind of weird about it being titled that way. On top of that, there was a lot of deep scratches on the face, and I don't think it was worth getting. You should look into that though, because some of them sell for quite a bit and some don't. I often make fun of how my wife gets sick and I don't, because I drink tap water. And regardless, I do like a good taste of bottled water. Water purification is huge. Unfortunately, this model type from Pure doesn't go for very much, and I could have probably made $10 profit, but it just wasn't worth it for me, not in this. Here's a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle. Here's the bottom, where I see that is from Poppy Train of Metlocks. I've seen this before online, and it stands out really well because of the retro pop colors. But unfortunately, under the lid, when I chipped later, it did have cracks. Alright, so I am getting more and more of the fruitcake comics from that video, but how about some candy corn? Yay or nay? Team Candy Corn, where you at? I got faith that you're there somewhere. Alright, now here's one. If you've been following me for a few months, I love coming across lamps, table lamps, tall lamps, but I couldn't find any information on this one other than assuming it is from like a Regency MCM antique type lamp. It has like an S-type dual socket on the top. It looks very pretty, so I'm going to take this with me, but I need to find some lights to test it out. That's one thing I'm always nervous about. I want things to work out, and sometimes it takes a little bit of work, like cleaning up after other adults who are very inconsiderate about what they do where they put stuff. So here I am, gonna get this tested, see if it works. Do you think it's gonna work? I have a strong feeling it's gonna work. It's a little loose on top right here, and all I have to do is snap it back into place. There's no tools required, which is really good about some of these things. It just needs a little pressure, a little clamp on. Bzzz. Here we go. Oh, it works. It looks really nice already. Let's get this other light bulb in there correctly, because Mr. Sonny Las Vegas didn't do it right the first time. I love lamps, especially when they work and they're together. This is really nice. For $10, I have some research to do, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make a pretty good amount of pennies off of it. Alright, so this bag goes with a little story. There's a man named Jonathan. He ended up sharing a post the same morning about an hour before on Instagram that he found, and it sold for a good amount of money. So looking over, I'm like, oh, Jonathan saw something like this and shared it, and it helped me a lot, folks. I ended up selling this for a pretty good amount of doll hairs. With this though, it does have a lot to it, to where I'm gonna do every little check that I could think of possible. Even things that was like, what if a zipper doesn't work? What if there's an extra pocket? What makes me think about things that look old, like this vintage LO bean tag. It kind of looks like Patagonia's label, but it's kind of weird the way history has come around, where one takes over when the other one gave up on it. I would say LO Bean was the originator of what people know Patagonia's label to be today, their signature little style, and that's what caught my attention. And it also told me this could be worth money from things that I've learned from LO Bean, Patagonia, and similar brands like it. With these older style bags, some things dry rot, as well as the plastic and nylon. Some things deteriorate, and some things still sell. But when you do all of your little checks, you could sell your items with confidence, knowing that you've done every little thing and don't have to worry about, oh man, I should have checked this. Now you end up getting a return request. So some things are worth taking your time. For me, it felt like I was taking forever, but in a good way. Take your time looking at things, especially when you want to sell it for a really good penny. Now, I ended up listing this through List Perfectly on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and also Depop, where Depop highlighted it and it got over 200 views and ended up selling soon after for $128 plus shipping. This cooler right here is really cool. It's really old school, and you could tell just by the look of it. Unfortunately, it's missing 2 trays, but I still want to do some research to find out more about this. Doing some research on this goat or got is GOTT, and it's model number 80. There's different variations of it, smaller ones, some have handles, and I don't think any of them have the wheels, but this one couldn't clip down. I make sure to check everything. Even though the trays were missing, I would have got it if it wasn't for it unable to be clipped. Here's one that sold, but they could sell for much more. Ended up going at one of the last aisles that I haven't checked, and somebody ended up putting this on the rack. It wasn't there before, which is why it stood out. Plus, it's Pokemon. There's some really good items to look for Pokemon. Automatically, the feel of this feels really light, feels flimsy, doesn't feel like it's quality. And also, come to find out with some research, those little belt clip that looks like the Pokemon ball, there's supposed to be more attachments that go over the edges like this shown in here. So they are worth money, but for $4 and not having the extra stuff to it, I ended up passing on it. And now to head over to the post office where I'm expecting a bat. This is due to a return request that was such a big headache back and forth with the buyer. Super annoying, and I'm going to tell you more about it here in a moment. First, I got to drop off these orders.
For you, sir.
My eBay name.
Good day.
Thank you. Alrighty, good old duct tape held on pretty good. When it comes to reselling, friends, it's inevitable to receive a return, but it's all right because it's gonna get sold again. Before I send off a return, you want to make sure that the item isn't damaged more than what it was. Everything looks in original shape. All right, folks, so here he marked where these, what he said is a chip. Here's one. It's a tiny little speck right there. That's just surface. There's 2. Is that 3? No, that's the same one. I don't like that he actually Sharpied the bat. That's one thing you shouldn't do. You should return it back the way it was sent to you. He could have did this in a photo, and that's what I thought he did, was used a photo and did like a little lines. I didn't know he actually did it on the bat, but nonetheless, that's one thing you got to be mindful for of being a customer and having a return and being a reseller. Resellers could go back and say, hey, you know what? I didn't do that. You marked it. I can't do anything with that. You make it look horrendous. People could make up stuff, but I'm not gonna do that. A return's a return to me. He didn't damage it more than what it was. Still a good bat. Still gonna sell for good money. Just gotta give this guy his return, and I'm gonna do that now.
I am not perfect. Sometimes I overlook things with reselling. It's so repetitive with stuff that you think you did something and you overlooked everything. You checked your P's and Q's, but I overlooked these minute little surface scratches, which were not cracks as this person explained it out to be. This original customer ended up messaging me all these crazy emails, and all they had to do was put a return request. It's damaged. That's fine. But some people always feel like they have to give you extra. It was kind of annoying that they were in a hurry to get a return, and also were so considerate that they suggested and recommended they throw the bat for me so they could do me a favor because it's not worth anything. If that was the case, why did it end up selling 3 days later for $5 more than what that person paid for? They left positive feedback. They replied right away saying, thank you. I initially started off with $5 for that bat. I did pay the original. I even paid for their shipping return back, which I don't need to do. They paid $120. That's not my money. It's not my money, and it's not your money until the time expires. It's done with. It's too late to say anything about. My only thing that irritates me when it comes to not so much eBay, it's more of the customers, the buyers who are so adamant about giving you a lip full of emails when it's no need for it. Send a return request, and as soon as you get it, if you want your money as fast as you're complaining, send it as fast as possible, because it also comes back to us of trying to make this our livelihood. We depend on platforms like eBay and other things like this and everything that we're going across to just make our life better. And we're trying to make your life better to the customers as well by providing things that you can't find in your area for a good deal. Some things are rare and you can't make deals, but it all depends on what you want and what you need. And what I need is just to be myself and think about how little things can change my life, and it can also assist you in your life through my journey of reselling and other thing that is involved in it, like family, friends, fun, vendors. I just want to spill my guts, but there's some things that take a little bit of time to share. The things like this return, they're inevitable. You can't do anything about it. You can't prevent it. Those who say I don't do returns, not as described, you're going to get a return. If you try to fight it, folks, just be realistic when you're sharing information with people that are new, because you could lead them in the wrong direction. There's policies that you're going to follow regardless how you feel. And for me, I want to learn as much as I can off of the platforms to benefit me. So I hope that I never steer you wrong, but I'm here to share a good time and lessons that have helped me, that I've learned on my own and from other people as well, that I've used to learn and apply as I grow to make it cha-ching.